Alright. Richard, those, alright, it is 5:30, July 15th, Wednesday. I'm calling the Public Works Committee, meeting to order. President in the hall, we have Chuck, Bob, Dave Wallner, myself, Jana, and Amy. Yeah, so first we'll go over the June 10th Public Works meeting minutes. Does anyone have anything that needs to be changed and or adjusted?
I didn't notice anything. I'll move to adopt.
I'll second that motion. First and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Minutes are received. Public comment on agenda items, 2 minutes per person, 14 minutes per topic. See, we have public here today. Does anyone want to make comment on agenda items, or you can make comments on anything in general? And then name and address, please.
All right, Jeffrey Cook, 313 Bruce Larson Way. I'm to mention a few things that are happening in the Winesett Prairie. Originally, when I moved, part of it, there would be some sort of sound berm along the highway. And there was one there. It has since been removed. The grading of the new homes is also going to cause runoff into my property. I've submitted pictures that have shown what is happening. Previously, what will now happen, since it's even higher, because they removed the wall to move the dirt. And it used to be relatively on grade, now it's even higher. Also in the pictures, it shows the state of the pond. Previously, the pond was in a relatively decent shape on and off. With this last phase, they've added more dirt to the pond. You can see it on the west side. They pushed some of the foliage in, removed it, pushed it in, now it is drying up. A year or two ago, they did that on the east side, causing issues as well. If there's anything else, people in the community have reached out to the DNR about it, and they have an investigation open, which I recommend you guys to look into, and they're not happy with the current state. Anything else? Those are my main concerns along with the rock wall that is behind the mailbox. It still has large holes in it, and it has been like fully completed, and the grass is not being mowed in that section. And when you go up top, there is sinking as well.
Bob and Chuck.
I did
know of any of that.
I did send this out to the developer's manager out there, John Anderson, so he's aware, and they're coordinating with Capstone on some of these issues. So if they do, they're aware of it, so they would pay attention
Okay,
to those items.
we don't, this is, it's not an agenda item at this time, so we really can't discuss it any further, but we will look into it.
Yeah, there's been quite a confusion with this, the sound berm, earth berm, whatever you'd like to call it. With the developer, with us, it seems also from my understanding with the planning side of it as well. One thing's being planned, one thing's being done, one thing's being told.
Yeah, the berm's new to me, but we will check into those things.
Thank you, sir.
Does anyone else have any public comment?
I'll go and that way I can get her out. I'll be a little quieter for everyone.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
was here last month and
Name.
I'm sorry, my name is Maya Porter and I live at 304 Main Street.
Mhm.
I was here last month and talked about getting a sign put on Main Street for autism. I have not heard back from anybody within the month. And I guess I would just like to thank you for hearing me again. I can list statistics and repeat info and tell you about why Skyla needs a sign. But I want to tell you about why I need the sign. And my daughter was born healthy, and by age 1, I knew she was different. And by age 3, when she wasn't talking, my heart knew what was going on. And it's been almost 7 years since I've been blessed with her. And I've spent that time growing and learning and how to navigate autism and how to keep her safe. She wears headphones for sensory stimuli overload, and she may not hear warnings from cars. She appears to be in her own world sometimes and don't pay attention, and she has no fear or sense of boundaries. We have alarms on our doors, also stop signs on our doors, bungee cord on our back gate, as well as the latch. We talked to her about, safety rules, yet she can still manage to get past us at some points. There is no pills she can take, there's no medical procedure she can have, and there's no cure. You can't get better, you can only manage your symptoms. And by far, to me, this is the most challenging thing I've ever done. And I can't do it alone. And even with a great school district, family, and her social worker, I struggle to give her everything she deserves. And if it really does take a village, and that's why I'm asking mine to help me with the sign to help keep her safe. It's one of the few things I can do for her. And I appreciate it. And I just would like to kind of figure out where it's at from last month and kind of where we stand or how long it would take for me to hear something.
So first off, thank you for coming down and sharing. My apologies for there not being any feedback to the fact that we were having some discussions to this and working on this. This has been put on full board agenda to go over, and I believe you were at was it at the safety?
This was
meeting?
last meeting.
Okay, so it wasn't the
Or-
public works.
Yeah, I'm not real sure
Okay.
where to go. The lady I talked to on the phone told me to be here this, at 5:30 tonight,
Okay.
so.
Perfect.
I'm here.
Yep, so we're really glad that you came down and shared, and we will have discussions at full village board. Specifically in regards to this request.
I appreciate it a lot, and I do know they go through fast, and I know it doesn't affect everybody, but if it can affect half of those people reading those signs, it's enough for me and worth it to me, because I don't have many options, so I
That's-
appreciate.
It's next Tuesday is our next meeting, so it's gonna be on the agenda.
Yep.
Just to let you know, it's next Tuesday,
And
we'll
this-
be here.
What time?
6 p.m.
6? Okay, I shall be here then. I thank you so much.
Yep.
I appreciate your time and thank you for dealing with her also. But it's important that she sees how to advocate for herself as well.
Yeah.
As she grows, so,
Well, she can come down to a meeting anytime.
I appreciate
They're a
it.
blast. They're not as fun as they used to be, huh, Bob?
Well, I kind of took a lesson from my 5-year-old last night. We watched the firefighters do their safety drill next door. And I also appreciate being allowed to go try to preserve whatever history I can out of that house. It means a lot to me. I like history and it's just been an honor to do that. But my 5-year-old watched them and she said, "Mom, can we get them some lemonade? Because they looked hot." And if that lemonade, she didn't know if anybody would need it, and she still did it. And I kind of feel the same way about the sign. You don't know how many people will need it, but it's there if somebody does.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks for coming down.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Sir, do you have any?
I'm just observing.
You're just observing.
I am.
You're here for the fun.
I am.
All right. Is there any public comment online? I don't know if we'd be, okay. Closing public comment. Moving on to for a general update on active projects.
All right, so good evening, Chair. Committee, let's see, for the street improvements, we did submit a what was it called, a pre-TIA traffic impact analysis to WisDOT. They're reviewing it currently. They did come back with some questions about phasing, so we know they're looking at it, but we just don't have a formal response yet from them of what, if any, sort of improvements they're gonna need up on Churchill at the main connection there. As far as the water booster station, we're looking at potential sites.
So wait, were you speaking specifically about the Newman's Farm Street
Yep.
utility? Okay.
Yep.
And we're gonna need to vote on that. That's coming up. That'll be its own.
That was approved, and so this is
Yeah.
just the initial study.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty introductory, not full scale, but
But it doesn't require any action.
No, I forgot to
Okay.
change that out. That was from last month.
Okay, that was the only
Just
thing I was,
my mistake about, thank you for catching that.
Okay.
So,
I always try to look at, I appreciate that part because
what do I gotta do?
Yeah, yeah, I like that.
So, but yeah, no action required at this. time.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect.
Similarly with the booster station, we're looking at potential sites. More than likely, it's gonna be down on the original, Pine Vale. Which has advantages of improving pressure not only to the Newman, but also to the Pine Vale residents there.
You got a location you're thinking about?
Yeah,
Or
kind of in the
just
center.
on top of the hill, on the east side, we have an outlet there that. Yeah, it doesn't need to be very big, 100 by 100 is,
So when you come up into Pineville, go past the first right.
Nope,
not even, just, as soon as you cross the hill.
there's an outlet there that we wanna take advantage of, so. And, it's kind of midway down the hill, so it's kind of sheltered that way too, so. Next month, we'll be looking, for your recommendation, to move forward into design. Cause the clock is ticking and to get something. We need to get moving basically yesterday to get something, in place by the end of 2027.
Any conceptuals on what it would look like?
I can bring that next meeting. So you can kind of see
So,
what they look like. I mean, you'll have obviously input during the design phase of it, but
so let me back up one sec there. You're saying no water to that new addition until this booster station is that correct?
There would be water, it just may not, through the hydrology tests, that seems that we're gonna be low, and we are gonna be low in some certain spots.
But it's not gonna. If we don't have the booster station, it's not gonna hold anything up, or it will hold it up.
It could potentially hold up some homes depending on their elevations.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
In the original Pineville.
Nope, not in the original.
The new one.
The new one.
And it would obviously be bad for any industry we'd be wanting to bring in there.
But so
But
we're trying to
it's
get
not
kind of,
Stopping shovels from going to the ground, but we want it.
No, but we could run it into occupancy if there is a lack of, suitable pressure.
If it builds at, and if we're building at the same rate as we did on the first one, we could potentially get into that, yeah, pretty soon if we don't have it.
So
Okay,
we just don't we don't wanna encounter that and have an issue where, builders got a house ready to go, but
no, and if we can fund it through TID funding now, let's do it that way instead of being where we're at with this addition over here, where we're gonna have to pull that money out of a hat.
well, and we could take advantage of. Bob pointed out to me that we could take advantage of both TIDs if we keep it Pine Vale.
yeah, so Ellers is aware. We had a meeting today.
You can split the cost of that.
We can, if, like the wastewater treatment plant is TID eligible, it's not even in a TID. But since we collect sewage from TIDs, there's some funding that can be brought from the TIDs.
Interesting.
But yeah,
It's very creative. I like that. Good. Yeah, we should definitely get it done then, if there's nothing holding up any of the funding, we got all that figured out, let's go.
And, it's just a lot of lead time, that sort of thing on equipment.
But it's one of those things where we can issue a PO and have it, or purchase, however, or they're not POs, right, but would they be
like a service.
a service, we enter into a service agreement,
Task agreement.
task agreement, that's the terminology. So we'd enter into that, pay the money, and then we'd be within more or less, right?
So-
Yep.
Yeah,
But,
let's go.
And Bob will be in communication with all the potential developers and.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you're heading in the right direction already, I like it.
So how does this feed if the fire trucks come in, hook up to the hydrants and haven't got backup water quite yet? Cause the new truck we're looking at I've been told we could drain our lines in 8-10 minutes.
So what this booster station is what we're proposing or recommending. We'll boost it up, and so in the new industrial park, you'll have 2,500 gallons per minute available. Which is pretty good.
So that'd be coming off our wellhead then.
Yeah, and with the well and the towers and.
What's our feed rate with wellheads? Would be both well stations be involved or?
If we had a fire, if you're talking fire terms,
Right,
what are the capacity of our wells?
right. I mean, what's the pump rate? on
About 3,000 gallons a minute
Each one.
if we needed to.
We have two wells in town, right?
Yep, so if you remember back when General Sam's burnt.
Right.
We sat right in the truck on our skid and we geared up when we needed to those wells. And Richmond was here and they said that was amazing. That we didn't have a wall and pressure. It was absolutely amazing. So it'd be the other hand. There's a fire. We would obviously know about it and make sure that adequate water was there. And we could do that right from our homes, so.
Yeah, that's even more integrated into you guys can get in there wirelessly,
We have to go with some other skid and turn pumps on, increase the pumping rates if we need.
perfect. Well, I guess whoever you heard that from, you can put that to bed, cause I've heard that before too, and I'm glad to dispel that rumor, so thank you for bringing up those stats.
And then, in addition to your well capacity, you've got all the storage too, right? So what do you got?
Right.
In the air,
400,000 in there.
400 in the air.
Do you know what the new pump truck will be able to move? How many gallons? The
I
stat
don't know
on
what they
that?
told us in that one they brought out and gave us the demonstration with. But according to a couple of firefighters, that's gonna suck lines dry in about 8 minutes.
Did they know the number though? 8 minutes?
He gave them the volume of water it pulls.
Okay.
And depending on our pipes is what I was told. Some of the pipes are smaller and some of the newer developments are larger. He said the smaller pipes, he says they'll can pull them dry and collapse them. I mean,
Well, I guess we're kind of getting
Oh,
on the
carpenter,
weed
yeah.
at this point, but,
Yeah.
but I'm sure.
There are dead end lines, there are smaller lines that, we shouldn't be pulling from, so.
so we were at mid 45 latitude development. Or no, I'm sorry, I jumped way ahead, I apologize. We're on to only Newman Farms Athletic Complex Master
Yeah,
Plan.
so, I forgot to talk to Eleanor about that, but I can bring an update to our board. I know they've been updating, we've refined kind of the area now that is going to be dedicated to park, and so it's just a matter of
We got that,
fitting all that stuff in there and then presenting it and then
Yeah.
figuring out when,
we got that nailed down though, that's good, we don't,
yep, right?
unless some lucrative, something else comes in, or we're locked in, we're good.
I think we're locked in.
Lift station, or tip 5 lift station, we're down to punch list item there, so. I think there's some, curb removal still in place in the second
Pretty minor.
course of bituminous that needs to go down. The Pineville additions, the second edition, they have some, they have the curb in, but they gotta finish the streets on that one.
Skip that F on the latitude 45, when is that scheduled to be completed, all of that? The buildings and all that for the,
Oh,
All the buildings?
yeah,
They're on a 7-year build out.
Okay.
They might be coming to,
oh, jeez. How are those right now?
yeah, I just got a call from them, they're looking for more land.
that's great.
Yeah, that is good.
Okay, and then just looks like other than that, touching it up, so we'll be finishing that one up.
Yep, they've been doing a good job.
And do we, I don't know if do you recall, Bob, when that second course? I think all the irons raised, right? So that's,
Yeah, we have a mill and overlay, so the monitor and of course have that in the same.
Okay, at the same time? yeah, so that'll happen September-ish.
Perfect.
So, yeah, Pineville second edition, there's some streets that need to be built on that. one, they have to curb and gutter on that, but they gotta finish up the streets there. The first edition, there's punch list items, some curb removal and some rehab there. And then. You know, as far as the pond repair too, they've made adjustments to that. In that first, or the original phase, to the orifice. And I don't know if they've removed that berm yet or not, but there's some storm ponding work that they're. Planning to do, and, you know, that'll get done here.
They'll have it all done here the next month or so.
Yeah, that's the plan. As far as Monte Trail goes, there's some retaining wall block that came that didn't really. The height was different than
The wrong block.
the wrong block.
That's the one down by the metal.
It's kitty corner from
South side of
assembly
the-
across from Woodstock.
I saw that, but it's sitting there
It's
waiting.
larger blocks, so they had to reorder and, that'll be put in next week.
Everyone is very excited for that show, you know, people are asking me all the time when it's gonna be there, yeah, constantly.
So I
They're
think,
using it already, I'm like, no, my kids are out there, it's really nice.
Yeah.
They did a really good job behind where the pond was there, and with that topography, like they took that hill and it's just,
It's really nice.
yeah, they did a really good job. You did skip over the Winesap Prairie first edition. There was a.
oh, I did,
update on
my
that.
apologies. So, the first edition, that's. Yeah, that's to punch list items as well.
Is the stuff that the gentleman spoke about tonight included in some of those punch list items?
That's the original one, the zero edition, shall we say.
Okay.
So,
What's the mechanism for addressing those issues that you just talked to?
I talked to John Anderson,
Okay.
and he's talking with Kyle at Capstone. So what their final response to me is gonna be is get out there, so I haven't heard back from Kyle.
Perfect, I was just wondering where that fell in.
Yep.
Thinking
A
that-
lot of it, is final grade. They said that there is a final grading that will happen, and John did tell Kyle from Capstone to be very, attentive to that grading, to make sure that your concern is not an ongoing concern.
Mhm.
So that final grading, he said he's very confident that that's gonna alleviate that concern. Now, the berm wall, they're discussing that, because there's some uncertainty about what all is entailed with that.
I've never heard of it, so.
It was, cause I'll just. Look at it. Also shows the pond and the flooding. That I deal with when it rains.
Is this the wetland?
Yes, it
Yes.
is but the south side of mine is the wetland.
Backyard.
Yeah.
And then the flooding you see is where the new, or phase one, I guess, since I'm zero. Would be draining into.
Okay.
And that's the issue,
And
and now
phase
it's,
one is been final graded, yeah.
and now it's even higher than it was before. So that's gonna create more issue, because they took out, when you look towards the highway, I can't really see it, now I can see it. So it's flat there and everything's just a little higher. The elevation of those are from my back window, my patio door. So that's why I bring it up, I don't wanna have an issue. Now these homes are built, now we have a flood back here.
Yep, yep.
And then also the issues that happen with them with pushing material into the pond to do this.
The one thing I will say in regards to, since I've been on the board, we've dealt with a litany of these issues. We do our best to handle them. They do tend to take a while, so I would ask that, and I think I've seen these before too, so I know where these.
What I do is, since we're in construction, I think that as he is a homeowner in our Somerset community, who they truly are the owners of our village.
Mhm.
We all work for the owners.
Mhm.
And I think that it's your duty, Chuck, to have your inspectors out there and verify and make sure that everything is being taken care of, so that at least his property will be protected. And I questioned when I went out there, I looked at that pond, and it looks pretty silty on the bottom right now. So either it's been runoff that's gone into the pond, or as he had mentioned, that he had noticed that the bulldozer had pushed dirt into the pond. I think that one needs to be addressed. And then the elevations of the berms behind there, because some of the homeowners out there said to me that the elevations are off. I don't know for sure, but, going all the way back from the new berm they built to the berm behind the existing homes down, and then behind his place, the other three homes. I think we need to make sure that everything is per spec, because I questioned when I went in there looking and they had the cul-de-sac mean, it's like, I don't know how they're gonna build a berm back in here, you know, behind this property.
So we can, I just wanted to make sure we address the Weinstein part of this. I think we've got a good idea on what we need to do here. We can make subsequent agenda items to
Proactively, not
cover those.
deal with it after the fact.
Well, and the other, one nice thing that is, I don't know when this house was built. I'm assuming it was built after we instituted the grade. They had to provide the survey as part of closing out the,
Pretty close, you know,
we're going right around the same time, so.
you know, if modifications need to be necessary on the lot that would impact him, then this is the time to do that. I think that's what Dave's talking about.
Yeah.
So we'll be super attentive to that
Hey.
and then have somebody from MSA come out and actually maybe double check.
And hold, and we've got money on.
To make sure, yes, we do.
May I mention two more things related to this?
No, sure.
The far east home, they did a full rock wall around it to protect it from the pond. The next home, they didn't build, they built mine, then went back to the middle home and built that one. And when all that was done, they never continued any erosion control with the pond. So our yards just go right into the pond, and that's the way it looks with the new homes. So the pond is eventually gonna we're either gonna go into the pond or it's gonna come up on us. So that's something that maybe needs to look into with the planning continuing forward, especially with these new homes, we're gonna be very close to the pond. And then, the last thing, just related to wine sap, is their streetlights don't make sense and they don't work. In the community, don't work. Well, I think only one in the community works. And then the rest of them are just in random places, so it's kind of. I don't know anything about that stuff, I just wanted to mention that. I forgot to mention that during public, I'm sorry.
That's it.
That's all.
No, all right, okay, all right. All right, so then the last thing, multi-use trail, where that's coming along nice. We're looking forward to that being done. The real storm drain, Pinedale Ponds, looks like everything else coming along, all right. Anyone else have any questions for Chuck? Need updates? Going once, going twice, all right, we're moving on to 5A unfinished business discussion, possible recommendation, parks. Don't really have anything in this.
No, I just in my update, I alluded to Newman athletic facility and, you know, now's time to start looking at financing for that in terms of grants. Any type of endowments that we can possibly reach out to, you know, corporations, state loans, state financing, those types of things. So we should really get that in motion sooner than later.
What do you need to get that in motion? Do you need an official agenda item and?
For any grant, I need to get the board to say, yeah, let's go after this grant because there is a financial component to the grant. So I don't want to write a grant, we get the grant, and then it says.
Okay.
Well, we're,
So you just need an agenda item to discuss it and approve it as full village board for an amount, a dollar amount?
Yeah.
More or less.
so it's just basically giving me some guidance on, yeah, apply for any and all grants or stay away from federal grants because they're a pain in the neck. That's what I want you to say.
Perfect, yeah.
But there's like Otto Bremer Foundation and there's several others. The Knowles Nelson stewardship from the DNR, that's a very popular one. That's a 50-50 grant. So those are the types that I would just need some guidance from the board to say.
You want that from this, should that come from the committee or
I
from the
think
board?
it's acceptable if it comes from the committee.
Okay.
Because we always kind of you know, they can later object at the board if they choose, but.
Okay.
It's always good to know that everyone's on the same page. And that there's awareness that we're gonna go out seeking grants and what they're coming from, and then if there's other things that you wanna do, campaign for this thing.
Yeah, I'd like to put that on as, we'll put that on as a future. agenda
Cassidy, I'd
item.
like you to take away from me, so I don't have to do it.
I did that one thing, the campaign, we're up to $505 now. Okay, but we'll put that on as a future agenda item for next month, because we'll get the ball rolling on.
And how far along on the plan do you have to be before you can start?
You gotta get design, so, yeah, but it's always good to, you know, be able to write the grant, let a couple people review it. There's some folks at MSA that can, you know, give me some advice and say, well, this makes it score a little bit better, but. Design phase, about 60-90%, well, about 60%, do you say? Or not that much? They wanna know what you're gonna do is what you're gonna do, basically.
Yeah,
I go,
yeah.
"Well, what's this?
Well, I think it's good if we put it on as an agenda item for next month, because then it also pushes MSC to get their stuff
Yep.
done and have everything squared away, so we can say, hey, we were that much percentage done, we need this much money, and we can set forth with that guidance based on the plan that Chuck will have by next month.
So those grants aren't due until typically the spring.
Okay.
Of the year, but again,
Okay,
allowing a lot of time to, you know, really. Doctor those things up as
So
much
let's
as you can.
get ChatGPT fired up.
Right?
Okay, anything, we'll take that as an agenda item, anything else in regards to parks? I know the one other thing that we have kind of discussed is. Taking over some of that trimming on the. South side of the bridge.
Yep.
Um,
I'm gonna get with Steve and just kind of get a better understanding of what all he's hoping to achieve jointly with us.
and then figure out what we can do internally, and if we need to get a quote to get stuff done. I know we're getting close to where we're gonna. Where we gotta figure out where this money's coming from, but,
That was a good thing.
yeah, but at the same time, I wanna keep on I wanna keep the ball rolling down there. We've got some momentum in that park and everything, and I wanna keep it rolling.
Good.
Good. Anyone else have anything in regards to parks in general or improvements or?
I have a sort of a general question. Veterans Park, there's the whole row of trees that's on the backside of the tennis court, the
The pines.
pickleball.
Yeah.
Are those part of the park or do those belong to the right there? Cause I don't know if we ever do any cleanup there, but I walk through there frequently. I go through Veterans Park and go down the road past the, you know, down all the way down to Main Street. And it's a gathering place for kids, I guess. And I sort of go through and pick up the debris you get when kids are picking up, and I'm wondering if there's any possibility of clearing up some of those trees. So there's no, because there's all kinds of little tunnels in there now and
Yeah.
little, you know, little bare spots. And I cleaned up a bunch of stuff when we had the community cleanup. But now there's, you know, there's things that kind of look like.
One way I found helpful, so if I see stuff like this, what I'll put it on the workload for the guys on the ARC thing. Have you been on that before though?
Mm.
There's pretty much a workload for the guys more or less, and
Well,
you,
I didn't even know if these trees were actually part of the park
Oh.
or whether they were part of the right of way on the, you know, the road out there, but it's just something I see it and it gets bad and then I'll do a bunch of cleanup and then there'll be a party, I guess. So,
Yeah, we don't want any encampments going.
well, it hasn't turned
Got
into
enough
that
already.
yet, but it's pretty clearly, because it's all so low. You know, there's almost little tunnels in there now where kids can go hang out and. I clean up when I go by, but I always have a dog on a leash and a bag, so I was just curious.
I got it written down.
Okay,
no, and I'll show you where I like to put the stuff on there. If I see something, I
oh,
put it
okay,
on, there's a workload.
okay.
Put it on.
I didn't even know if this was part of the park itself or
Yeah.
not, so, okay.
Pretty sure.
But then, yeah, in other news, we did start a fundraiser for covering the landscape improvements. that, for the trail. So I started that,
Okay,
so that's on Give Butter,
Give butter.
yeah, and it goes straight to Andrea into an account specifically, so we're up to $505, so,
Thank you.
okay,
It needs some, publicity though.
yeah, it'll catch on. Anything else in regards to parks? All right, moving on to 6A, new business, possible recommendation, TID 5 lift station, pay app number 6, final. I like that word, final. All done.
Yes, so this pay application is, just looking at the wrong one, for $50,535.10. Any recommendation for approval should be contingent upon, us getting lien waivers from subcontractors and the fix of a control panel light that isn't functioning properly. One thing I should have asked Andrea, some cities like to see, corrective change orders to kind of zero all the numbers out. You know, that a lot of our projects are unit quantity bids. And, you know, and so some quantities we might underrun and some we might overrun. And I got to thinking that, Andrea, does she like to see those?
I would just ask her, I'm not sure.
Okay, so there might be a change order coming just to kind of zero out all the.
So it might not be final, is what you're saying, more or less.
No,
Yeah, oh, we gotta find out, it's contingent upon it here too, it wouldn't change the number at all,
no,
it would just,
I'll let her answer that, so.
yeah, let me talk to Andrea about that, I apologize, and if,
So they're billing for the full amount, but we don't have all the change orders yet.
well, it's just that it's administrative, you know, so some communities do that, some don't, I wanna say Andrea does, which is, it's more of an exception than the rule. You know, it's just to say, okay, we had 100 ton of the 2 minutes plan, we came in at 90, so the change order would just lessen the quantity,
Zero
match
out.
the 90, right? And then other quantities would slightly over, so it just brings kind of clarity and closure to all that.
If that's how she likes to do it, that's how we can do it.
Oh, yeah, I fully understand that. I gotta keep her happy.
That's how we're gonna do it, Andrea. Perfect. So you're asking for, I can open 6A, but I can't open 6B.
So basically, approval of pay, final pay application number 6 for $50,535.10 to Haas and Sons Incorporated. And have that approval be a contingent upon subcontractor lien waivers and the fix of the control panel.
So move
Second,
first and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries with that dollar amount based and with the contingencies Chuck outlined.
As I'm sure Andrew will verify the bill too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Perfect. We're moving on to 6B, multi-use trail pay app number 3. This one's a little larger dollar amount.
yes, it's partial payment, you know, it's, the amount is for $175,211.86. Were completed to date, you know, it includes some of the wall, some culvert work, some aggregate base.
No one has any questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move for I gotta pull the number up again.
175.
175,211.86, motion to make payment.
I'll second it.
First and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Next up, Public Works. part of the report, and I do apologize. I usually try and read these before I come, but I didn't read these last week, Bob. Sorry.
That's because you didn't read it last week, so it's just
Yeah.
Monday,
It
oh,
was last
yesterday.
week. Yeah,
I put last month's on there, so you're not behind.
takes me a month to catch up.
Nothing remarkable, just some updates on a few things. Our mill and overlay for Main Street will occur sometime after Labor Day. We need to make a decision on the Center Island. Donnie would like to see that gone. I would like the committee to talk about that. So everybody's on board with that.
So that's if you want a future agenda item to remove that island.
Mhm.
Okay.
I hate to see that island go. The problem is that you end up with just straight road, and that island, the trees sort of gives you a sense driving in that you're coming into not just bare roads. Now, we'd be removing it in order to make the overlay more efficient, or?
No, the reason I would agree with the removal of the island is to create a turn lane for the hockey arena. So when the hockey arena gets filled in with a big event, that then would give a turn lane opportunity. And then we would have that center line with the linings out, so the cars could keep going. Otherwise, when the hockey people are turning, that becomes a congestion point. And a lot of the hockey games are at night, so it's in the dark. I'm surprised there hasn't been an accident yet.
Sounds like we have some very good topics to bring forward to the discussion, so let's have that as a future agenda item. I love the discussion here though, so let's keep that rolling next month.
And then our micro surfacing that was intended for Main Street will, in lieu of Main Street, we are gonna do Francis Street, Hunt Street, Red Pine and Evergreen Drive.
That's for the same amount then, and we can
Same
just
quantity,
move that
same
over.
price, you know.
Okay, probably easier that way, or just,
Yeah, they're better candidates for the micro surfacing. So, again, the contractor met with me and he's like, yeah, we're lucky we did not micro service Main Street because it would have been what it is right now. It would have failed. So
one thing,
dodged the bullet there.
one thing I don't see in the water, are we all, squared up on that one generator? And we had to get a gas line,
Oh, it's wastewater, yeah.
that's all squared away, okay.
The water tower rehabilitation slated to start in August. So the monopole was put up, AT&T's antenna have been relocated to that. That's all expense borne on the cellular company. That's not a cost of the village or the utility. Lead and copper monitoring samplings has started, so they added 10 more sites. Because we expanded in population, so we have to sample more, which I said it doesn't make any sense because how did our population go up? And DNR said, well, because you put more homes in. And I said, do you think we use components that contain lead? Oh, that's a good point. Never thought about that, but it's gonna cost us an additional $10,000 to do that. So, it's a little frustrating.
Yeah, little.
Sounds like extortion to me.
So it's a little bit of aggravation, so we had to, get 10 more homes that we know are perfectly fine. So,
And then one thing to note on here, you do have the other things going on in regards to the crosswalk and the autistic child sign that the gal was here for tonight.
And then there was that Joe Casey crosswalk.
Yeah, that's the crosswalk. That's gonna be put on full board.
Okay.
For us all to have a discussion in regards to that.
yeah, I didn't really identify it in my notes there. I just-
Well, the other thing is we had discussions around that. I know they had started a pledge thing or whatever, and that was kind of my response to it, was we were already in discussions around it and we were trying to figure out the funding mechanism and tie it in with the TAP grant. So we were kind of already going down that road. The urgency was kicked up for reasons that don't need to be discussed, but, yeah, we're in the works on that, so I think it's a good thing with with how much the heat's been turned up on that, I think it's just best that we discuss it as a full board. So I'm glad Donnie was able to, put that on Full Village and, bypass us.
That'll be a $15,000 to $20,000 effort, so just so you're aware, it's gonna cost some money for 88 landings and curb cuts, so it's not. Definitely not, a cheap thing.
Well, that's all you can do is bring it forward and we can discuss the risk, that we're willing to live with as a community and decide whether we're gonna pay for it and do that or live with that risk, and that's what we'll have to discuss as a board.
Yeah, and any it'll, in my mind, any sort of revisions will improve it, but it won't solve it fully.
Yeah, that's where I'm and I think that's part of the conversation of how the handshake of enforcement and signage. So between the Public Works Committee and the Safety Committee, how we gotta work that out and who's gonna pay for what, and if people are requesting things that need to come out of other people's budgets, we need to kind of figure out how that dance is gonna work out, because that's not easy for chairpersons to navigate that between the heads of their
But I think what Chuck's
departments.
meaning is, whatever we do is not gonna fully extinguish what's going on. There's still gonna be people cutting down that driveway to access that.
Yeah, that part of it.
Kids are kids. Anybody going north is still gonna.
There's,
That needs to be also, understood though.
yeah, I've had some more comments of that in regards. I live up there and I've got some feedback from some of the neighbors on some, anyways.
Okay.
Don't need to go into that anymore. Any more public works, department? Report updates that are.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Next up is the bills. Public Works, Water, Sewer and Parks bills. It's our pleasure on the bills this month. Are we gonna pay them? Feel like we're gonna. Well, everything seems in order at entertain. Well, we need a motion to pass the bill, a
Just
recommendation,
recommendation.
a recommendation to pass the bill. Just.
Recommended, yep.
I'll second that recommendation to get bills first and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed nay. Paying the bills. Future agenda items, one was the
Island,
island. Two,
grant writing.
grant writing. I feel like there was one more. Is that it? I think that was it. Yes, okay. Any other one, have any other future agenda? item? Oh, I have one. I am requesting, hopefully we'll have the quote by then, but I would like to have a discussion in regards to possibly putting up cameras and lights underneath the bridge, Village Park. Hopefully we'll have the quotes by then.
You know, if you wanna put that water booster station.
If you think it'll be ready, let's do it.
It'll need to be ready.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta get going on that.
Water booster station, let's do it. It's paid for already.
Yeah.
More or less. Trying to think of any of the future agenda items.
That time,
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be.
A week less, but you have time.
The water boots, that's on the east side of the entrance, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I will entertain one final motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn has been made, first and second, all in favor signify by saying aye.